If you've been shopping for a robot vacuum lately, you'll know there's literally dozens of choices. While bigger name brands seem to get all the press, there's many smaller manufacturers out there. But how do you know their bots are capable and potentially worth it?
I recently had the chance to try out a new robot vacuum and mop from Dream. The Dream D10 Plus is a dual vacuum and mopping unit with an auto-empty base.
In this review, I'll look at how well it cleans, both vacuuming and mopping, if it has any special features, and what you need to know before you buy. An early heads up, if you end up liking this video and finding it helpful, to please hit that like button and consider becoming a subscriber. Both those things do help me keep making more videos that I hope everyone out there can watch, enjoy, and learn from. And don't forget, you can read this review or reference any of what I'm talking about here by heading over to techgadgetscanada.com.
A couple of years ago, I tried the Dream D9 and had a very mixed experience. While it cleaned well, it struggled to map my home and got stuck on a lot of flooring transitions. I brought it to my aunt's home, and there it worked a lot better for her. Well, that's to say, I'm looking forward to seeing if the Dream D10 Plus is an improvement. Let's take a closer look at the Dream D10 Plus. This robot floor cleaner, like I said, is a combo unit. It'll vacuum your home, but with the addition of the special mopping pad, it will also do a light, damp mop. Interestingly, the water tank for the mop is part of the mopping pad itself, an odd but effective use of space.
The D10 has a rather large 5,200 milliamp hour battery. Dream says this means the bot can clean up to about 270 square meters, which is about 2,900 square feet, without needing to recharge. I can confirm that in my testing, the bot was able to clean all 1,000 square feet of my home on a single outing.
When it comes to what's in the box, on top is an accessory pack with an extra vacuum bag for the base station. There's also a corner brush, which just needs to be clicked into place. The power cord and the mopping plate are also in here, and that mopping plate holds a thin water tank, like I mentioned. The robot itself is up next, and its clean white design will blend into a lot of homes. The bot does have its own onboard dust bin, which will be able to empty itself into the base station, which is the largest and last thing in the package. There's also already a dust bag installed for you.
The dust bag holds about 2.5 liters of dirt and dust, and Dream says you should only need to empty it about 8 times a year. Since I only spent about 4 weeks with this bot and it didn't need to be emptied during that time, I will take Dream's word for this for now.
To get it set up, plug in the base station and get your bot charging. You do need a space with enough room for the bot to get in and out easily and with access to a plug. Meantime, download the Me Home or My Home app, which will be where you control your bot's mapping and navigation. Click Add Robot and follow the on-screen instructions to connect it to Wi-Fi, and in just a couple minutes you'll be ready to clean.
A handy option when you first install the bot is to use fast mapping. Fast mapping is going to let the bot roam around your house without vacuuming in order to create an accelerated virtual map. That virtual map is going to be key to making the most of your bot, so I highly recommend you use it. Now, unlike my experience with the D9, after one pass, the Dream D10 had a detailed and very accurate map of my home.
Amazingly, it was done mapping in less than 10 minutes. This is easily the fastest and most accurate mapping I've seen in a robot vacuum ever.
I was able to go in then and refine the rooms and rename them so that I can use voice control. And you do need to have a Google Assistant or separate Amazon Alexa device, I should add.
With your map made, you can do scheduled cleaning or room-specific cleans. The scheduling feature is really easy to use and lets you set a regular daily or weekly clean, or just choose a room in the app and send the bot out there only one time.
The Dream D10 has a maximum 4,000 pascals of suction, meaning it can be quite powerful. It also has adjustable vacuum suction. Essentially, there's low, medium, and high power, so you can not only dial in the type of clean you need, but doing so also adjusts the noise level. So you can run a low power clean and still take that Zoom call. Speaking of adjustments, you can also dial up the saturation level on the mopping pad from low to high, and you can choose your cleaning mode. There is a vacuum-only mode, a mopping-only mode, and the dual vacuum and mopping mode.
You'll need to turn this on inside the app's settings menus, but the Dream D10 also has a power boost mode for carpets. With this setting enabled, the vacuum mop is supposed to automatically recognize carpet and turn on to maximum suction. In my testing, though, I was not able to get this to work. The suction power never increased on carpets. Let's get to the mopping. The mop has a washable and reusable mopping pad that sticks to its water tank. The whole unit slides onto the bottom, and conveniently the pads on the bottom are washable and reusable. Just toss them in the laundry or rinse them in the sink.
The mopping on this bot should come with a bit of a disclaimer. This is not a mop in the same way you do a wet mop with a bucket and a mop. It's definitely not as thorough since it really only uses a small water tank, and that tank volume is about 270 milliliters, by the way. So it's using that tank and a moist cloth, and it's really just best at doing kind of a light dusting, I guess, a light wipe. It's not an actual mopping, wash, or scrub since there is no scrubbing. Helpfully, though, you can adjust that water flow, like I mentioned earlier, for moister or drier action by using the app. The maximum area it will mop on one tank is about 2,000 square feet, which is pretty impressive. But again, at most, it's doing a light wipe. I'd say in my 1,000 square foot space, I got about 2 full mops to a tank.
In my mopping tests, I let the mop tackle things like muddy dog paw prints and spilled and dried coffee. The mop was quite good at getting those wet spills, and it was pretty thorough. When it comes to the drier spills, it does take a couple of passes, but the Dream D10 did an excellent job wiping up things like dried coffee, getting, I'd say, about 90 to 95% of the stain off the floor during a cleaning.
I will add one small note. The Dream D10 doesn't seem to have the ability to tell you when the mopping tank's water is empty. So I sent it out one day to clean, and it didn't seem like it was doing very well. It took me a few minutes before I decided to check the tank, and sure enough, it was completely empty. It would be nice to get alerts about this so the mop isn't going to go out and just be ineffective.
You might be wondering how the bot handles mopping in homes with carpet. Good question, and the answer is it doesn't. It'll mop your carpets too, supposedly unless you set no mopping zones. These zones are created inside the app and let you draw boxes around rugs or carpeted areas where it won't send the bot with the mop attached.
Again, in my review of the D9, these zones just didn't prevent the bot from getting onto carpets. But with the D10 here, I'm happy to say the carpet avoidance is really effective.
Even before I got those zones set up, when the bot did venture onto carpets with the mopping plate installed, it wasn't soaking them, it's more lightly damp, and I actually don't think it was a problem. Any residual dampness did dry quickly, so for the most part I just left the mopping plate on and let the bot do its thing.
Okay, let's get to the vacuum testing. I put all my robot vacuums through the same tests. I get them to clean things like finer flour, bigger bits like rice or oatmeal, and larger cracker crumbs from both carpets and hard floors.
In my testing, the Dream D10 was great at things like rice and also larger cracker bits, inhaling probably 99% of those spills. Now, it wasn't as great at finer spills like flour on carpets, and it was only marginally better at getting that off of the floors. The vacuum was great at getting things like pet hair day to day, and even with the bin full, it was easily able to empty itself. Overall, I'd say I score it an 8 or a 9 out of 10 on the vacuuming. In my previous testing with the D9, that robot got stuck pretty much every time it went out, and I would have to rescue it or return it to the base station if the battery had run out.
I'm happy to report that with this version of the robot, it's much better at navigating difficult areas, and I found it was much better able to free itself and far less likely to get stuck than the last time I tested a Dream bot.
You'll notice I said less likely. This bot still got stuck more than a lot of other brands I've tried, and that's probably because it's not great at object avoidance. Instead of avoiding potential problems, it tends to push them around.
The Dream D10 is set up to work with Google or Alexa.
You need to link the My Home app with either Google Home or the Alexa app. While I was able to link my accounts, I had great difficulty getting results.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Ask DreamBot to clean.
I don't know how to set DreamBot D10 Plus to that setting.
Turn on the DreamBot D10 Plus. You need to use very specific language and words or you won't get a result. I eventually got it to work with Alexa. Okay, Google, Start the DreamBot D10 Plus. But with Google, even when I used language provided to me by Dream's team, I couldn't get it to work.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Bottom line here, if you're counting on voice control, you may end up disappointed.
I don't know how to set DreamBot D10 Plus to that setting.
Overall, I can say the Dream D10 is a major improvement over the D9. It cleans really well both on floors and carpet and when it's mopping or when it's vacuuming. The runtime is huge and it can clean my whole home on a single charge. The self-empty station is really effective at cleaning out the onboard dustbin too, and you can dial your vacuum power and mopping either up or down as you need it.
Downsides? I couldn't get the voice control working really well despite following Dream's instructions to the letter. And the damp mopping plate will get dragged over your carpets unless you set those mopping no-go zones. There's also no water tank empty alerts.
I suppose the other downside of this bot is just the attendance you'll need to pay to which floors you're cleaning. If you want a thorough vacuum, you'll need to remove the mopping plate and set it to vacuum only. If you want things mopped, you'd need to reinstall the mopping plate and set it to mop, but also ensure your carpets are marked as no mopping zones. The mop doesn't swamp the carpet, so it's also possible to just leave the plate on. While this bot is an effective cleaner, it does have some other considerations which you might not mind, or they may be deal breakers for you. It's definitely an improvement over the D9, but this bot may not be the robot vacuum of your dreams. The Dream D10 sells for about $499 US. So what is one of the best robot vacuums on the market then, and what does it cost for near perfection? Check out my review of the Ecovacs Deebot X1 Omni here on the channel. And what about at the other end of the spectrum? Can you get really good cleaning from a bargain-priced bot? You'll answer that question in this review. If you want to read this review or reference any of what I've talked about here about the Dream D10, head over to techgadgetscanada.com for a full write-up. There you can ask me any questions you have about this robot vacuum. You can, of course, also post them here in comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Erin. Until the next time, you can find me on either Twitter or Instagram. I'm at ErinLYYC. You can also always catch me on Facebook at facebook.com/techgadgetscanada.